Hey, everybody. Welcome into STL Sports Central presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And this is Domesticated Gamblers, your home for St. Louis sports gambling talk. My name is Eric Sontag, and there is Mr. Sharp Shawn Surwillo. We are live with you every Wednesday night here on the STL Sports Central YouTube channel, talking sports betting and covering our hometown teams from a gambling perspective. So if you are watching, and welcome to the Danimal is in the house. Appreciate you being with us.
Can you throw that up there one more time for me?
There it is.
Patrick
Look who that
Mahomes
is.
With the refs, Patty Mahomes and the refs. It's appropriate, Dan B. I know a lot of us St. Louisans can't stand the Chiefs. Tito's one of them. Big wolf on that. But yeah, good little pick there, Danimal. Glad that you're in the house, and let's cash some winners this weekend.
Yeah, the Mahomes might be needing some help from the refs here pretty soon. Another loss last week. I think they're still going to be fine, but that's the division's getting a little dicey here with the Broncos just refusing to lose. Where's the fraud, Tito? Again, I think he's got about literally, it is not even exaggeration. I think there's like 20 living things in his house between people and animals. The man is busy. It's just going to be touch and go, I think, moving forward when he can join us. It's just, we're going to play it by ear.
Yeah, he's in the NFL season, and Tito's scared to come on here and battle Mr. Sharp because Mr. Sharp's opinions on the preseason have all been just about right. Carolina Panthers look pretty good. The Indianapolis Colts look pretty good, and yeah, I'm excited. Football season's over for me. My junior Jags, unfortunately, couldn't get it done in the Super Bowl. 3 turnovers, 150 yards and penalties, and that will do it. We lost 14-6, but it was a great season, and I wouldn't trade anyway. The way it worked out, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So it was a great season.
Yeah, it's good to be coaching your boy. Yeah, and it sounds like basketball is now on your agenda as well. So Coach Sharp is in the house, but he's still coming in, doing the show. You took 1 week off. Now you're back. You're good to go.
Yeah, I just needed a mental break. I guess since the middle of July, I had been coaching football at least 3 nights a week with a game on Saturday. So just needed a week, needed 1 week off, and that's okay. Mr. Sharp's kind of been laying low on the gambling, but here comes a new trend. The dogs covered last weekend after we saw the other trend with the favorites. So back and forth we go, but I think we know who's who now in the NFL, and we can start cashing in some money before lines get real tight in the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A lot to get to tonight. So if you're watching like the Danimal, get involved in the live chat, become part of the show. Let's talk some gambling here tonight. Would love to put your guys' thoughts up on the screen and discuss. Also hit the like button, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel if you haven't already. And again, jam-packed show tonight. We're going to kick it off by talking some Blues hockey. They just get destroyed 6-1 at Washington tonight. They're going to be right back at it tomorrow in Buffalo against the Sabres. So we'll tell you where our action is for that game. Then Mizzou's college football playoff hopes, they're on the line on Saturday with number 3 Texas A&M coming to Columbia. Tigers a 6.5-point underdog in this one. So we'll preview that game. And as always, our Mizzou coverage here on Domesticated Gamblers is brought to you by James Carlton with State Farm Insurance. Talk a little college basketball. Mizzou and SLU both underway. They both won and covered in their season openers on Monday. So I'll tell you how to
win. Good teams win, great teams cover. So let's go Mizzou and SLU. Hopefully we can cash some tickets this year.
Yes, they do. I do have a couple thoughts that I'll talk about a little bit, just how to approach their games from a gambling perspective, at least early on in the season here as they're playing these blood donors coming to town. And then we'll save the best for last. We'll go through every game on the schedule for NFL Week 10 with our picks and our leans. We got SJ in the chat. He's taking over Tim Yaz's responsibility today, I guess, going for the Gators. Where is the Gators, guys? Tim, where are you? This is like the first show he's ever missed.
Yeah, I know SJ's up in the room. He needs to get his butt to bed, but he loves the show. And thank you to everybody who's still supporting us out there. And guess what? We're almost there, folks. We got a month to go before this thing launches in Missouri. So take in the information while you can. Eric's going to have a good story here for you about gambling and when you get ice cold and when you're hot. So just follow us along so that way you don't lose every dollar you got by the end of this year with gambling. You got to be careful here, folks.
Totally. It's a good segue because this is something I definitely want to talk about. Just a reminder, you can get all of mine and Sean's official plays in the free Action Network app. That's where you can track your own plays, follow other gamblers as well. Shawn, that Dodgers win the World Series ticket cash for you. That means you're now up over $3,100 and starting to track your plays there back in June. You can follow Shawn again with the username Mr. Sharp 4499. My username is eSontag. I've been tracking on the Action Network app for a year now. I'm up over 27 units, but I want to talk about this because I've hit a slump lately. I was looking back in my notes on the show back on September 17th. I was up over 42 units. So that means I've dropped 15 units here over the last month and a half. And this has not been a situation, where I've been making bad bankroll management decisions and just, losing trying to chase. I haven't done that at all. It's just my reads have been off for a while now. And I feel like I usually go through this like 2 or 3 times a year. I
Yeah.
remember the last one was back in June. It was actually right after I cashed that big ticket on the Pacers to win the Eastern Conference at plus 2,100. I gave it all back over the next few weeks because I hit a stretch just like this. And I want to have like real talk here and be transparent about this because, like you mentioned, Shawn, like sports gambling is launching here in Missouri. It is 26 days away.
Yeah.
And every single one of you watching this is going to go through a slump like this. And I view it as our responsibility to help you guys become better gamblers, like not just with the plays we recommend, but just as important, if not more important, just how you handle this stuff mentally and emotionally. Cause like, here's what's going to happen, Shawn. Like a couple weeks from now, if you're in Missouri, I'm already getting served all the ads about it where you can start, pre-registering usually like November 17th at a lot of these books. You're going to get all these awesome bonus offers from these various sports books, which you should take advantage of if you're going to be gambling. And when you do that, you're going to start with a nice bankroll. But if you're not careful, like you talked about, if you don't have experience with this stuff, there's a very good chance you give all that bonus money back and then some. So I want to get your thoughts on this because, and if you're watching too, let us know your thoughts in the chat on this topic because I think what a big part of what makes a good gambler, you have to have that self-awareness as a human when you are in a slump. Because again, this is going to happen to everyone. I know my biggest problem lately, it's been too much volume. I've fallen in that trap. There's all these great sports going on right now. Like October is probably the busiest month on the sports calendar. And so I took several days off from gambling over the last few weeks. I've been trying to be more selective, which again, it's very difficult this time of year. That has not worked to get myself back on track. So what I've been doing starting this week, smaller stakes. So if I lose, I'm not getting crushed. I'm protecting that ultimate goal of mine, which is to be a profitable every year in sports gambling. And as always, and this is another good reason to track your plays. I'll be able to see when I get back on track. I know I'm going to get there soon. I had a profitable day today and yesterday. And once I feel like I'm back on track, I'll pick back up that normal staking. We're going to be just fine. And I should finish the year profitable. So I know I've been blabbering on. So like, just give me your thoughts, Shawn, because these slumps are going to happen, but you want to make sure you don't make things worse where you just lose your ass and then your bankroll just gets wiped out, right?
Yeah, but you can't. What's the old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but he can't drink it. So some people are just going to go through the ups and downs, but hopefully you take our advice because I've went through these ups and downs. I've lived them. Been a gambler for a very long time, and there was a lot of years where it wasn't so pretty. You chase your money. You didn't have good bankroll management. So I learned the hard way. But yeah, Eric, you're right. When you're in a big slump, I really like to just kind of shut it down. And if you've noticed over the NFL last 2 or 3 weeks, I'm just throwing $50 here. For me, with my bankroll, let's say in theory, I started with $100 on Action Network. I've built it up to $3,100. Pretty much that's how I started it. I bet 25, $50 in baseball here and there, just built that bankroll up. So in real life, that's what I do. And then when I'm in a cold streak, I shut it down. There's nothing wrong. There's always another game. There's always another month. There's always going to be the next sport to bet on. So you're looking for your leans, but when you're busy, shut it down. And when the cold streak happens, I love what you're doing. Lower your units, ride it out. And then once you get back rolling, seeing the board well, up your units again.
Yeah, it's like a basketball coach taking a timeout when the opponent gets momentum. And in this case, the opponent is the house.
But don't bring that up to me because my head basketball coach does not use his timeouts, and it drives me nuts.
Got to use those TOs, baby. You got to break the momentum.
Yeah, we had 23 seconds left before the first half. This guy lets the time run out. Just call a TO, draw up a play. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's another great reason to get on an app like the Action Network app because, like, we are all in this together as gamblers trying to beat these books. So, like, I would love to build this little community of gamblers to help support each other. Because I think what a lot of people do is they text their buddies about the wins they have, but then they never talk about the losses. And
Yeah.
I think it's healthy to talk about your losses, not just in gambling, but in life too, when you're going through tough times. So, like, if you get in a rut and you're like, shit, I feel like this is never going to end. You can talk with other people because we've all been through this, and you can share ways to help get out of the slump, right? Because I think that's you don't have to go with this alone. I think is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah. In my days out in the wild when I was single, I'd be out bumming with some bros, and a lot of times my bros were gamblers, and sometimes I knew one of my bros was real red hot, and he might be on a heater. Mr. Sharp would secretly fade him because I knew that heater was coming to an end. So, yeah, you can use the market both ways, right? You can ride the hot streak, and then you kind of see like, hey, I'm in this pick 7, for example, and one of my uncles just went 7-0. I can't wait to know his picks this week because he's not going to go 7-0. He's probably going to be below 500. So it can go both ways, the way, however you look at these numbers. But yeah, the community's been great. It's been great with you. It's been great with Danimal, just throwing things off of each other. But yeah, get on the Action Network if you're a serious gambler.
Yeah, Danimal says, "Oh, Dodgers win the World Series. It's going on a limb."
Hey, man. Yeah, that was an emotional hedge for me. If the Dodgers won, I was going to be sick to my stomach. But cashing that bet, I wasn't so sick.
And just an illustration of kind of my slump, I was like, oh, there's better value in taking the Dodgers minus 1.5 in the series, meaning to win in 4, 5, or 6.
Oh.
They obviously it goes 7. It gets to game 7. I kind of emotionally hedged too. I'm like, oh, I want the Dodgers in game 7. But it was minus 140. So I'm going to give myself a little coupon to give myself some plus money on the Dodgers winning. My coupon was the Detroit Lions money line last week. And so I not only see the Dodgers win the World Series, but then lose that coupon like we talk about. Yeah, it gives you better odds, but the coupon's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And so another good lesson. Yeah, go ahead.
I think your coupon this year in the NFL is fade the Saints, fade the Titans, fade the Jets. That's your coupon, right? I don't see them winning too many more games this year. So just remember that. Fade them really bad teams because Minnesota's a decent team. They can pull out a win any given Sunday.
Don't drink when you wager. Also, I found that out. That's another thing. Like, if you want to go like have some drinks and throw a little bit of money on something, that's fine. Have some fun. But then you could really get in trouble if you start chasing because you're out drinking. You're like, oh, I lost this one. Let's get it back. And then all of a sudden, fucked up your bankroll.
Yeah, Mr. Sharp's been there many nights, drunk, stumbling, bumbling. And, I got $500 on a game, and I wake up the next day and I lost $1,000 because somehow I bet a Hawaii NCAA game late at night. But those are some great times. So I don't want to tell everybody what to do. But if you really want to keep your money management together, do not drink and gamble. Dan B's right, and Eric. But sometimes it's fun to get a little tipsy, go to the casino, get on the blackjack tables, and you got 500 on a game. Man, there's no greater thrill in the world than that to me.
Yeah, it is like it's just like they say, drink responsibly, gamble responsibly. When you drink and gamble, do both of them responsibly together.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Detroit busted my Survivor. Yeah, I think it's an accomplishment still being in Survivor at this point. With that 1 week where the Titans won that crazy game with the Cardinals that wiped a bunch of people out.
Still in 2 Survivor pools. One, you can pick the same team every week. My family does that, so that one's going to go on for a while. But the other one, I had last week. I had Denver. I had Denver on both my picks because I'm kind of running out of options here. So
yeah, and they survived. Yeah, because Houston just refused to convert in the red zone. So yeah, we'll talk a lot more NFL. So we'll get to the games here. I guess just last thing to wrap this up. I actually was thinking about this. Remember the TV commercials for Midwest Hemorrhoid Treatment Center back in the day? And their slogan was "Don't suffer in silence." And I think this kind of applies here. We're like, don't suffer in silence with your gambling losses. So I guess I'm comparing sports gambling, that it's a lot like hemorrhoids. I think that's what I'm trying to say here, Shawn.
I guess sometimes it feels that way, huh? Especially in the pant.
Don't suffer in silence. All right. Let's kick things off with another horrible, depressing topic, and that's Blues hockey. Because they got their ass kicked tonight 6-1 by the Capitals, and they're going to be right back at it tomorrow in Buffalo against the Sabres. The Sabres are a minus 130 favorite tomorrow. Blues a plus 110 dog. Your total is 6.5. So high scoring game expected with the Blues not stopping many teams from scoring right now. So give us your thoughts on this game in the chat. It's a tough spot for the Blues with the back-to-back. Sabres have been home all week, and they have tonight off. Blues had the back-to-back last week. Did not go well in the second game. That was the game where the Red Wings beat them 5-2. Horrible loss tonight. I don't like the spot tomorrow either. You got to think it's going to be Hofer in net because Binnington started tonight. Hofer played pretty well his last start in Columbus. He was like meh in relief tonight. I want to see some consistency before I'd consider putting my money on him. I did see the Sabres are in a pretty good offensive groove right now. They only scored 1 goal their last time out, but even with that last game included, over their last 10, they're averaging 3.6 goals per game. That would rank 4th in the NHL for the season.
Wow.
So I also saw the Sabres have the number 1 penalty kill overall in the NHL. So that's a tough matchup for the Blues to score. That total's too high. I think it's 6.5. This is not official play for me, but I would just lean Sabres on the money line here. What do you think, Mr. Sharp?
Yeah, this is a situation like city soccer, right? We had the city soccer unders, like in the draw. We were just auto betting this. I think we're going to auto bet the Blues against the Blues and the over right now. I kind of like the Sabres minus a goal and a half here at plus 180.
Yeah.
Especially as bad as the Blues have looked here on defense and stopping the puck. So I think there's pretty good value, but I think there also, if you want to play it a little square, I don't mind laying 130, 135 against a struggling Blues team. I think right now you fade the Blues. I hate to say that. I haven't really gotten into the hockey because I've been so busy, and I have no reason to get into the Blues right now, man. They look like crap on the ice, and they look flat, and I hope Monty can turn this thing around. But boy, it's looking rough, and I hope it's not one of these terrible, terrible years where attendance is down and we're hearing the same old story again. I think that's Blues. All of us are kind of worried about that. I think so. I don't know what you do here. As far as gambling, I'm fading the Blues as long as I can right now until I see something different.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if we see Army make a move in terms of pulling a trade to shake things up here. He's not the kind of guy that waits around. I think he's been pretty patient with this team so far, losing 7 in a row, but they've had some really bad, ugly losses too. The Godson joining us. Welcome to Godson. Disgusting from the Blues. Don't know if I can watch tomorrow. Hey, sometimes why you need to take a few days off from gambling. Sometimes you need to take a few days off from your hockey team.
Yeah.
The Danimal says Ovi's 900th goal tonight too. That was awesome. Should have played the Ovi prop.
Yeah.
Tage Thompson is the Sabres' best player too, of course. Like, look, I'm not going to complain about Doug Armstrong and his track record with making deals.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we got Ryan O'Reilly in that trade, if I'm not mistaken. I think that one worked out okay. Got a cup out of it, but yeah, it's just the vibes are bad right now, and I just don't think you can bet on the Blues right now. It's just we talk about all the time sports gambling. Don't fuck with the streak, either a good one or a bad one. And I just think you're kind of throwing money away if you're betting on the Blues right now.
The good news is it's early in the season, and we can turn things around if we get playing some good hockey. But don't put your money on the Blues right now. Just fade the Blues if you want to hate watch them a little bit, and then that's a little emotional risk management. When the Blues lose, you win money. If the Blues win, you're not so mad. So that's how I would go about it. I would just fade the Blues from now on and play the over.
Yeah, big fan of the emotional risk management. Might have another opportunity for this on Saturday as we move on to college football. Talk about this big game in Columbia on Saturday with Mizzou and Texas A&M, and our Mizzou coverage here on Domesticated Gamblers, as always, is brought to you by James Carlton with State Farm Insurance. He is my insurance agent, and he's the agent for plenty of other satisfied customers. 459 5-star reviews on Google for James Carlton. All right, this does not happen by accident to leave a review for your insurance agent. You got to really be impressed with them. And this is one example with the review that just got posted recently. It says, The team at James Carlton with State Farm was absolutely fantastic during a very trying situation and insurance claim. They stepped in and assisted with the process and even submitted additional comps that resulted in a higher loss payout. If I had an issue, they knew how to solve it. In addition, they were very responsive and easy to communicate with via text. Highly recommend this office and this team. That's a perfect example of what I've been talking about for months now. They take care of you quickly, they take care of you properly, and they will go the extra mile for you. That is the kind of service you get when you're a client of James Carlton at State Farm. And oh, by the way, he saved me over $800 on my home and auto insurance this year. So support the advertisers, guys. Get a quote, see what he can do for you. I hear story after story of people saving big time money with James Carlton. I'm just one of them. And if you're saving a bunch of money and you're getting incredible service, like, I mean, what else could you want from your insurance agent? So go to carltoninsurance.net or just email them PDFs of your current policies like I did. They'll take a look and let you know if they can save you money. And if you're anything like me, there's a very good chance they can. When you get a quote, mention Domesticated Gamblers or STL Sports Central. They will make a $20 donation to Mizzou's preferred NIL fund, which is the Will to Win Fund. Call 314-961-4800 or go to carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. One more point from the Danimal. Benny tried to steal Ovechkin's 900th puck. Did you see that, Mr. Sharp?
I did see that. That was pretty sneaky, and good for you, Benny. I wish you could have got it out of there.
He just loves to stir the pot. I love me some Bennington with that. Yeah, do or die for the Tigers here. This is it. Like this season, if they win, the college football playoff hopes are back, and you feel like you can beat anyone if you beat the number 3 team in the country. And if they lose this game, this could really fall apart because you got a true freshman, third string quarterback, and you'll have players that might be looking towards next season in the portal if they know that this team is not really going anywhere other than some crappy bowl game. So, this is really Matt Zollers. I'm really excited to see what he can do. He looked pretty damn good throwing the football against Vandy, like arguably a better looking quarterback than Bo Prabula. So I want to get your take. I'm going to go to you first, Shawn, on this.
Yeah.
But I'll just set it up. The A&M's a 6.5 point favorite. Just dropped from 7 to 6.5 today. So it went to that key number there, 6.5. Total is 47.5. So let us know your thoughts in the chat if you like the Tigers' chances against Texas A&M. I'm really torn on this game, so I'd love to hear what you guys think if you're watching. So, Mr. Sharp, what do you think here, man?
Yeah, I agree with you. I was interested to see how you felt about Zollers because I liked him. He looked like a polished quarterback. He looked a little better than Bo to me personally against a good Vandy team on the road. No easy task that Zollers had to accomplish with Bo getting hurt. I like the Tigers at 7 a lot. I want that 7. I wanted, I don't like it at 6.5. I don't recommend betting that. I want the touchdown. Maybe even buy the half point, depending on what you can get the price on that. If you can get it at 7.5, but do some shopping around. I'm sure you can get 7 somewhere. But I think it's a Missouri team that's do or die, like Ty talked about. The Tigers have to be all or nothing here, right? And I think we're going to rally around Zollers and play good football. To quote Dick Vermeil. So I think I like the Tigers here, and I think they get it done in a close game in Columbia. I think the Tigers actually shock the world here, and we win. I think Zollers is the real deal. I know this kid was a high-touted prospect. I think he's the real deal. I liked what I saw. Home start. We got the crowd. I think the Tigers pull the upset, and I really like it at 7 a lot. 2 or 3 unit play. I've been watching the Tigers on Saturdays, and it's been fun. I'm really glad Zollers is in, to be honest with you. I think he can lead this team more efficiently down the field.
And it's a good argument for that. The only thing that makes me nervous, though, is he looks pretty good at Vandy, but Vandy hadn't prepared for him. And now Texas A&M, they had a bye last week, too. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for him. Aggies, obviously a great team. They're undefeated, but I did see they're 3-0 in one-score games. So I do think there's room for some regression there. I mean, Arkansas almost got him a couple games ago.
Yeah.
Only a 3-point game there. Mizzou, we know they were so good in one-score games the past couple seasons. They were 10-1, but a little bit of bad luck this year. 1-2 in one-score games this season. I think part of that could be just Brady Cook was a winner and figured out how to win. We'll see what Zollers has got. If I had to guess, I do think this game's going to be close. Like, I'd be surprised if Mizzou just gets run off the field and this turns into a beatdown. And to
Our
me, it's more
defense
about,
our
the
defense
defense.
is good. I mean, we
Yep.
gave up 17 to Vandy. I was on Vandy on that game, just emotional hedge, man, risk there. I just didn't want to deal with both losses, so I bet on Vandy. But I don't know, man. I think Mizzou's got something here. This one to me, this is, I think, going to be a nice play. I think Mizzou gets it done. And I'm not too worried about teams scouting Zollers, right? What's there to look at? 3/4 of a game. I'm not too worried about that at all. These are college. I'd be more worried for NFL, but there's not enough tape on this kid.
Yeah, I think the play that I was looking at is more of the over because I just think Mizzou's defense is really going to be tested here. You know how they're so good at getting after the quarterback. Texas A&M has allowed the fewest sacks in the SEC, so they really protect Marcel Reed. They're second in the SEC in scoring offense. Defensively for Texas A&M, they have the third most sacks in the conference. And I like Zollers. He looks like a good pocket passer. He's patient, staying in the pocket. So, like, true freshman, number 3 team in the country coming to town, like, this is a huge test if he can handle that pressure.
I'm getting Jackson Dart, Baker Mayfield vibes here. We rally around this kid and we play good football. I think they shock the world.
I think the biggest reason I'm looking at the over, this Aggies defense, it's gettable. Like, they give up almost 24 points per game. That just ranks 12th in the
Right.
conference. They're middle of the pack stopping the run. Ahmad Hardy could have a really nice game. He's got to be a huge part of the game plan here with the true freshman quarterback starting. So that's where I lean. I'm optimistic on Zollers and the offense being effective. I love the Mizzou defense, but A&M is going to get theirs too. They have scored 31 or more points in every single game except for one.
Yeah.
So lean over 47.5 for me. The Godson says he's playing a unit with the heart on the spread here just for some fun on the Tigers. You guys think that's fun? That's misery to me. Like, if my team doesn't cover, loses, and and my team just loses for my emotions, brutal.
I've been fading the Tigers here and there and cashed a few bets, but I'm just going to go and say it. I love this bet. It's going to be in pocket for me. I'm going to shop and get 7 for sure. I'm not taking 6.5. No way.
Yeah.
But man, I just think this is the time you ride with your team. You need to jump on board and ride or die one time here. It's all right. I got a great feeling about this game.
Oof, man, I hope you're right. Also in action this weekend is Mizzou basketball. College hoops is back. I'm super excited for it. Both Mizzou and SLU, I think I mentioned at the top, they won their season openers, blowout fashion Monday night. So we're going to dive a lot deeper into college basketball in future weeks, really once they start playing some better competition. So I really just want to give a couple big picture thoughts. First of all, like, this should be a very exciting season for college hoops in the area. Like, Mizzou should be a tournament team again. They were picked 7th in the SEC. Joey Lenardi's got them as an 8th seed in the
I don't want to
tournament.
talk about tournament with Mizzou after that Drake game last year. My God.
My thing though, especially as I'm getting older in my middle age, I'm enjoying the journey more than I feel like I was in my past, where it's more about, what do they do in the tournament? I had so much fun watching that team last year. I think this team's going to be fun again this year. Billikens are going to be fun too. They were picked 2nd in the A10. They should have a really good chance to win their conference. And just from a betting perspective, if you remember last year, Shawn, we were cashing in on 2 trends. It was Mizzou covering the first half spread,
Yep.
and it was taking unders in the Billiken games.
Man, those were cash cows too. It was easy
Yeah.
cash.
It was coming in at a very consistent rate. I could see that Mizzou first half trend continuing here this season, at least early on against these bad teams. So they covered the first half number on Monday at Howard. A big reason is this is the tallest team in Mizzou history. And I was watching that game. Howard, like, just could not handle it. The height. They have this guy, Sean Phillips Jr. He spells his name just like you, by the way. So I think you're going to like him. The SHAWN. So I know you're
right
probably
way,
already a fan. Yeah, the right way. Dude, 7 foot, 245 pounds.
Ooh.
He had 16 points and 11 boards. So, like, he's not like this awkward, uncoordinated big
I was
guy.
gonna say,
Like,
he must be athletic if he weighs 245. Yeah.
he's athletic. Dude can ball. Worried about the free throws with him, of course. But that's always an issue with the 7-footer. But these teams they're facing, like Howard, like SEMO this Friday night, they're going to be overmatched by this height and this length that Missouri has. So keep an eye out on that Mizzou first half trend. I could see that continuing here, especially in this first month or two, as they're playing these smaller schools that are overmatched. I just mentioned SEMO. That was the team the Billikens beat on Monday, 92-67. That game went over the total. SLU was an under machine last season. I don't think we're going to see that again this year. This team is so much deeper than last year. They have scoring depth up and down the roster, and this really has the potential to be a really fun season down at Chaffetz. They're back in action tomorrow night against Chicago State. SLU is favored by 28.5.
Ooh.
So, this is going to be a beatdown.
What was the season total on over/under wins for SLU? Do you know?
They don't do that for college. I know Ken Pom has them projected, I think, for 22 wins, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So you can't gamble on that, but that's what Ken Pom has projected.
So they're right on the bubble then. They're projected, right?
Well, it just depends on how strong the A10 is going to be. He's got a projected 23-7 overall, 12-6 in the A10. That probably wouldn't be good enough for an at-large. But just from a gambling perspective, I think this could be an over team this year. SLU, especially tomorrow against Chicago State. Total's 152.5. I think they could score at will against these guys, and there were 159 points scored in the SEMO game the other night. So just keep an eye on that for these trends early in the season. Of course, join us here on the STL Sports Central YouTube channel for post-game shows after all the games this season. I saw our guy Kareem Rush and Chris Pelican doing a great job after the Mizzou game on Monday night. I'm actually going to be on SLU post-game tomorrow with Matt Rocchio, so looking forward to talking Billiken hoops this year. Again, should just be a really fun season for college basketball in the area, and to get down to Chaffetz Arena and watch some games this year too. So you got any thoughts on college basketball, Sean? So we just get into the NFL here.
I usually wake up with college in about January. Once the NFL season's, playoffs get done, then Mr. Sharp starts looking into basketball. But until then, I'm only worried about football this time of year. Even hockey goes on the back burner.
Well, let's get into the NFL. If you guys have thoughts on these games, certainly let us know. Happy to discuss them in the chat. First, definitely want to tell you guys about DraftKings. And NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? For me, it's the next one, because the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in, from first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting. Every snap is loaded with opportunity. Unfortunately, I don't have a chance to fade the Cowboys secondary again this week because they're on a bye. But Trey McBride cashed a bet for me where he scored a touchdown on Monday night. That is the 6th consecutive week where I've cashed a bet on a pass catcher scoring a touchdown against the Cowboys. So I'll have a few of these touchdown prop plays coming up for you here as we go through every game on the NFL Week 10 slate. And here is the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see DKNG.co/audio.
All right, Mr. Sharp, let's get into week 10 of the NFL. And Tim, has joined the chat. The Gators. He's here. The streak continues. I think he's the Iron Man for this show. So thank you for joining us, Tim. As always. Again, we're going to give our opinions on every game. A reminder, you get all of those official bets for me and Sean for the NFL and all sports in the free Action Network app. Track your own picks. Follow other people as well. Sean has the username Mr. Sharp 4499. My username is eSontag. Again, if you're watching, give us your thoughts on the live chat on these games, and we will discuss. And let's start tomorrow with the matchup in the AFC West on Thursday Night Football, and it is the Raiders at the Broncos. Denver, as my screen refreshes here, is a 9.5-point favorite, and the total is 42.5. So, Mr. Sharp, Where are you thinking here for Thursday Night Football?
I really like the first half under. We haven't been seeing a lot of those, but I think we go up to Denver. I think this is a Raiders teams that's pretty much packing it in. They traded Myers away. You can kind of see the writing on the wall with the Raiders. I think Denver can get the win, but they're going to want to go in here, keep everybody as healthy as they can on a Thursday night, kind of get that mini bye week. I like the first half under. Personally, I like that one the best here on this bet. I don't like the laying the number at 9.5, and I don't believe in the Raiders enough to take the 9.5.
Yeah.
So it's first half under or nothing for me.
Yeah, it's a lean on Denver for me because it's just this crazy stat I saw today. So we saw the Raiders lost in overtime this past Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So over the last 20 years, there's been 27 times where a team played an overtime game and then played on Thursday Night Football, just 4 days later. So 27 of those games. The team that had the overtime game, 6-21 straight up and 4-23 against the spread on Thursday Night Football. So like the short rest definitely matters in the spot. That is a wild stat to me. And it's not just all bad teams. You know what I mean? Like this so happens you had an overtime game, then you play on Thursday, you're 4-23 against a number. Crazy.
That is crazy. The trend might be due to reverse a little bit, but the Raiders are falling apart. So I get what you're saying, and then you have those numbers to back it up. So yeah, you can maybe throw a half a unit on a number that large. Yeah, I'm with you, Danimal, 9.5. But this is a Denver team that's very good on defense. I think they're fourth in the league in overall defense. Their offense can score. Bo Nix struggles a little bit early in the games, but he is a winner. He's getting it done. And I just think Denver and the Raiders both come in here and run the ball a lot Thursday night. And I like that first half under.
Yeah, speaking of running the ball, that's what I do have a prop play picked out for this game, and it's J.K. Dobbins over 69.5 rushing yards. Like he's quietly been very good, very consistent for Denver this season.
I think he averages 77 yards a carry.
That's 77 rushing yards per game is what he averages. Yeah.
Per game. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Carry. Oh my God.
That'd be something. That'd be a record. But he's fifth in the NFL in rushing yards. He's fifth among running backs at over 5 yards per carry, 5.1. He's only got to get to 70 yards to cash his bet. He's done that in 6 of the 9 games this season. And most likely you got a favorable game script here. So I thought that number's low. Over 69.5 rushing yards at minus 114 on DraftKings. I think I'm going to put that in pocket as a small play for tomorrow.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot, man. And, the Raiders can't run the ball. Genty's struggling this year. I think they're 29th in the league in rushing. So I don't see a good rushing attack. Denver's going to sit back and play the pass. Give me the under first half.
Thoughts on the Danimals comment here? I don't think the Raiders are falling apart. Carroll's going to keep them playing for next year.
Nah, they're 2-6. Season's over.
I am wondering if Pete is thinking, what the hell did I do here? Taking his gig. I mean, he's living in Las Vegas.
That you cash that paycheck. You're living in Vegas. There's nothing wrong with old Pete right now.
Oh, dude, he's one of my favorite head coaches, and I think he's like pushing 80 years old now. That dude is just like a never-ending ball of energy, and he looks fantastic. Good for Pete Carroll.
I wonder if he comes back next year, though. This might have been a lame duck year.
Yeah, it might be. Like 74. God, he looks good for 74. I hope I look that good on 74 if I even make it there. Sean, it's your favorite thing, an international game on Sunday morning. The Falcons and the Colts playing in Berlin, Germany, where the Colts are a 6.5-point favorite. And the total is 48.5. A lean Colts. I just don't trust the Falcons outdoors where they're 0-3 this season. And I just don't think they can score enough to keep up. Like the Falcons are surprisingly 28th in the NFL in points per game. And Indy's number 1. And also just the Colts, they played their worst game of the season by far at Pittsburgh. That was my best bet over on their team total. That was dead almost immediately. That's the run I'm on right now. But they had 6 turnovers in the game. They still only lost at Pittsburgh by 7 points. So I still think this is a good football team. I think they're going to clean it up and they're going to cover this number on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers whooped that butt. The score got close because of, they just kind of, that's what they play, right? They play the cover 3, let them check it down.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's definitely a good Colts team. They just got better with Sauce Gardner coming in at cornerback. Big trade for the Colts. It's Colts or nothing here for me. I agree with you. But I don't like the number. I don't like this game. I'm staying away from the overseas game. I'm getting locked back in. We're getting nitty gritty part of the season. I don't like the number. I'm staying away. But I do think the Colts, probably in this situation, I should go on the Colts. But I just don't love it enough to play it.
I know you don't like those international games. Yeah, the Gatson says the Colts should have the bounce back here. The Foul Clowns will clown it again. Yeah, they are just a very frustrating organization. And the Animal says Pete Carroll's just getting started. LOL. This dude has endless energy. He very well might be right, the Animal.
Yeah, he might be. But I think he's probably had his best days, and he's going to retire after this season.
Next game, I like both these teams. Two tough teams. The Patriots at the Buccaneers. We got this 2.5-point line here, Shawn. The Bucks a 2.5-point home favorite. Totals 48.5. So what do you got on this one?
I'd really like the Bucks to be getting 2.5 here, and we'd be taking the Bucks. I kind of like the Bucks in this game. I think New England's due for a stinker of a game. Tampa Bay's coming off the bye. I think they got a little bit healthier. Who's back? Is Evans back this week?
No, he's not back yet, but they're getting healthier slowly but surely.
I thought I heard that Evans might have a shot to play, but if not, this is a tough game, tough. I would really like the Bucks getting the point, so I'm going to stay away. I just don't believe in New England here again to get this one done on the road. I think May struggles a little bit here against a tough defense, and I would stay away.
I had a similar thought where the Patriots, I think they're due for a stinker. Like, they're an amazing story. They've won 6 in a row. They're 4-0 on the road. So they're definitely a good team. I don't think that this is a fluke. I think they're legit. I think this is a bit of a speed bump here. I did notice this is the game with the biggest differential between where the public is at and where the money's at. So the Bucks are getting just 45% of the bets, but they're getting 68% of the money. So
Yeah.
Sharps are on Tampa Bay. I lean the Bucks, but I don't love this one. I like I said, I love both these teams. They're both really tough. And this is kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. I think from a mental toughness standpoint, where I don't think either of these teams are just going to like break the other one down.
I do agree here though. I like Tampa Bay to get the win. I just wish I was getting points. I don't feel like the line is correct, and for me, it's off. Right? I think Vegas they have this number just right. I think Tampa is the better team. When you look at New England, they beat Atlanta, Cleveland, Tennessee, New Orleans. They did have a big win at Buffalo. That's their biggest win of the year. But division game, they're usually going to go 1-1. They beat Carolina and they beat Miami. So a lot of cupcakes on the schedule that they've beaten. So I think this is a good test on the road. I like Tampa Bay, but I don't like it at -2.5. I agree, Eric, with you. I think it's just a close game where no one's really going to beat up on each other bad enough.
Yeah, I'm with you. How about this next one with the Carolina Panthers coming off the big upset of your Green Bay Packers, Shawn, and they're at home taking on the lowly New Orleans Saints, where the Panthers 5.5-point favorite. That line seems a little bit low to me. Almost just makes me scared a little bit.
Yes.
Total's just 39.5. So are your spidey senses going off on this one too?
Yeah, Carolina was one of my teams to bet on this year, and they've been doing nothing but cashing your bets. They've been pretty good against the number, or they're getting the number most of the times. I like the Saints here getting 5.5. Division game, I think Carolina has a little bit of a stinker after a big upset win in Green Bay. Division games are always tough. We'll see where this thing ends up, but I'll bet it at 5.5, 1 unit for the Saints.
It's kind of prototypical NFL. If the Panthers just lay a stinker, and the Panthers, you talked about it too. They're great as a dog. As a favorite, this is not the great spot for them. So I'm curious to see what this looks like. The Danimal on the Bucks -2.5. Bet me. So I guess he really likes the Bucks. I'm looking at a prop in this game. This actually isn't listed yet on DraftKings. I'm keeping my eye out for it. This Rico Dowdle is something else, man. And the angle I'm specifically looking at is over on his rushing attempts. And the reason for that is he's been so good. The coaching staff finally gave in last week. They're like, we love you, Chuba Hubbard, but we got to keep riding Rico here when he's playing like this. You watched it, I'm sure, with the Packers. He had 25 carries for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. He is a little beat up. That's the only thing that's making me a little nervous. But the 3 games where Rico's been the feature back, his rushing attempts have been 23, 30, and 25.
Yeah.
And the last point I had, the Saints defense, they have faced more rushing attempts than any other team in the NFL. And it's because they're down and these teams are just pounding the rock. So it makes me a little bit nervous, like if I don't love Carolina, but like I don't think it matters. They know Dowdle is their best weapon on offense right now. They're feeding him the rock. So I'm keeping my eye on when this gets posted. But I really, really like the over on his rushing attempts. So what do you think on that?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Preseason, I said Carolina was going to have one of the best offensive lines in football, and they are. They're rushing the ball. I think they're fifth in the league, 139 yards a game. So this is a tough one for me. I think the Saints probably game plan to stop the run. They sell out to stop the run. And Bryce Young, we'll see. He's very good as a dog. I don't like him here as the favorite. So I'm going to take the Saints for 1 unit. But I like your lean there where you're thinking with the rush attempts for sure. They're going to lean on Dottle for the win.
Interesting point here by the Danimal. This is the closest week for spreads in the NFL. We had that week a couple weeks ago. We were at a bunch of 7-point favorites and chalk just crushed it. So he says just take who you think is going to win in almost all of them. What do you think about on that? Sometimes I feel like we can overthink this stuff where you're like, well, I think this team's probably going to win, but
I think Carolina wins that game. I just don't think they cover the number. I think it's probably some crazy field goal division game. Saints play them tough. I don't know. I don't know about just taking that out of the equation. The number's there for a reason. I don't know.
Another pretty close spread in this next game with the Giants at the Bears. Bears 4.5-point favorite. Total is 46.5. I got to lean over here. These are two of the 5 worst scoring defenses in the NFL. Both teams are allowing 28 points per game. Both teams have these young quarterbacks that are showing some promise. So I'm not locking in this. I'm not locking it in though yet because you got to keep an eye on the weather.
Yeah,
at Soldier Field. Because when I first saw this total, I go, "Oh man, that seems low." But I go, "I bet it has to do with the weather." It appears that's indeed the case. Potentially, it's going to be chilly for sure. 35 degrees or so in Chicago. There's going to be some wind, it looks like, but nothing crazy. And there's a chance for rain, but not a super strong chance. So, like, I think the books are kind of, this number is saying they're banking on bad weather. Just because it's cold doesn't mean it's bad weather. So, if this forecast looks like pretty neutral as we get closer to Sunday, as opposed to bad weather, I think this would be a really good number for the over. But these books have meteorologists probably on staff, weather experts. I have news for you. I'm not a weather expert. So I'm just saying I'm keeping my eye on that because did you have a similar feeling like, oh, that total seems low?
Yeah, I did. Both these defenses just flat out suck. There's nothing else to it, But I like the Bears here. I like laying the number, and I like the Bears here at home. I think the Giants kind of had their razzle-dazzle, scataboos out. I think Dart will struggle in Soldier Field with some wind, first time going there. So I like the Giants here, and I like laying the number at 4.5. It's going to be in pocket.
All right. Let's keep your thoughts coming in the chat as we're about halfway through the slate. The next game is Jacksonville at Houston, where the Jags are a 1.5-point road favorite. Ugly game. This is probably going to be the total's 37.5. CJ Stroud is confirmed out with a concussion. Davis Mills is going to be your quarterback for Houston. So what do you think, Mr. Sharp?
There's no way you can bet on the Texans with Davis Mills. He looked terrible. He didn't look very good at all. I know Texans, though, number 1 defense in the NFL, so it's going to be tough. Another division game. Stay away game for Mr. Sharp. No lean, no play. Just stay the heck away here.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be betting this one either, but I at least want to give an opinion, and it's a lean on the Jags. I saw they've covered 4 straight meetings.
Probably the Jags win by 30, and that's just because this isn't how I bet. But, Joe Public will probably hammer this one.
Well, I did see the Jaguars even still have the Texans number where they've covered 4 straight meetings. And Davis Mills, he was the starter for a full season for Houston, wasn't he? And I went back and looked. He's the reason they drafted CJ Stroud because it was 2022. He started 15 games. Houston's record that season was 3-13-1. So, he's not a good quarterback. They're a bad team when he plays. So, to me, it's just not overthinking it. I know it's a divisional home dog, but, I think the Jags do enough to win this game with Davis Mills. It's just not a winner.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Texans can't run the ball right now. So, eventually that defense is going to get worn down. So, this is my one flaw as a gambler. I can't step into the zone here where I should be probably leaning Jacksonville. I just stay away.
So that's one thing my strategy last week, which became very unsuccessful because I had a horrible week in the NFL, was keep it simple, stupid. Because what I've noticed a lot throughout the season, the Titans were getting their asses kicked. The Lions would kick the ass of these mid to bad teams, and Cowboys games would go over. I looked it up, and heading into this past week, if you faded Tennessee, you bet on Detroit, and you took the over in the Cowboys game, your record would have been 17-6. And I'm like, most of these weeks, I pass up those opportunities because I just, that number's too big on the Titans or the Lions, or, Cowboys. Well, I've at least been cashing in on the props against them. But those bets went 0-3 last week. The Titans lost, but they covered. The Lions get beat straight up at home to the Vikings, and the Cowboys game goes under. So I wonder if that flips this week. We're going to talk about the Lions here shortly. I know the Titans are on a bye. Dallas is on a bye, but I think sometimes we get a little too cute. Why not just bet the obvious thing? But I was shown last week why not to bet the obvious thing sometimes. So
yeah, and that trend was just due to regression. You had picked out a good trend, but it was a little too late, right? It was at the peak, so
right,
you didn't get the best of that, and now it's on the downswing. So, but I'd expect, the Cowboys got Quentin Williams, so we'll see. Their defense is going to be a little better. I think the Titans, though, are going to be a good fade the rest of the year.
100%. The next game, I've already put a note in my notes app. What did they lost? They lost by 7, I think, to the Chargers last week. So they covered the 9.5, whatever it was. But the Titans had a defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown.
Well, we'll see because they play the Texans at home.
Shit. God,
Lions -3, Houston -3.
Total's going to be like 29.5 in that game. Yeah. Speaking of Houston, Daniel says Houston defensive score prop may be the only way they get points in this one.
I do agree there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next game, another divisional home dog with the Miami Dolphins hosting the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo, a 9.5-point favorite coming off the big win over the Chiefs. Total is, this might be the highest one of the week at 50.5. So what do you think on this one, Mr. Sharp?
I like the over, and I like Miami getting the points here. I think 81% of the bets are on Buffalo -9.5. Big game last weekend for Buffalo. I think that's just kind of what's going to happen. You get to come off a big high. They're going to be down a little bit. I like Miami in the 9.5. This is one where I don't think Miami wins straight up, but I think they can stay inside the number. Would love to get it at 10. So we'll see if the public can push this up to 10, and then we'll put it in pocket.
Totally co-sign that. Those are pretty much my exact thoughts. The Dolphins suck, but they're going to be up for this. They covered at Buffalo back in September. They actually had a chance to win that game. They were driving, trying to tie up the game late in the fourth quarter. Tua threw a pick. Buffalo comes down and kicks a field goal. They win by 10, but they don't cover. And Josh Allen, that's a huge emotional win always when they can beat the Chiefs. But he has not been good against the number in this spot. I saw the stat today. He has been a road favorite of more than a touchdown 8 times in his career. So this is going to be number 9, road favorite of more than a touchdown. The Bills are just 5-3 straight up in those games, and they're 2-6 against the spread. So they're struggling. When they win, they're just squeaking by. And I think that's what's going to happen again on Sunday, where they probably win by about a touchdown. I don't think they cover the 9.5.
Yeah, I don't either.
Next up is Baltimore at Minnesota with the Ravens, a 4.5-point road favorite. Totals 49.5. I really like the over here. I thought this should be over 50. These are two of the best over teams in the NFL. They're a combined 13-3 to the over this season for the Ravens and the Vikings. And a lot of that was done without Lamar. And now he's back. The Ravens looked real good last week. And J.J. McCarthy went on the road and upset the Lions. So I do wonder, when I was watching the game, I'm like, he was a Michigan quarterback. He's playing in Detroit. Is this like a 1-week bump, essentially, where he's got something to prove against all these fans that have cheered for him when he was at Michigan? I don't know about that, but I do think the Vikings, the vibes have got to be good where they might be feeling, okay, JJ, he could be our guy moving forward. So those over numbers, I think both teams put up points here. I like the over in this one. I think I'd take it up to 50.5. It's at 49.5 right now.
JJ looked pretty good. early in that game on script. I'm sure Coach had a lot of plays for him, on script early. And it said the game went on. Boy, JJ really turned into who we thought he was, and he looked bad. They just got out to a hot start. 56% is not going to cut it in the NFL percentage wise. He had a QBR rating of 82.6. I think Baltimore will have a little something for him, but I think Minnesota's defense can contain Lamar as well. So this is a tough one for me. I kind of like Minnesota the number, but no official play. I kind of agree with you on the over. I think both these teams want to, open up the playbook, and both defenses are okay. I think Minnesota has got the better defense with Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator. So I would lean Minnesota in this game, but no official play for me.
Dotson loves the overplay with Lamar back. Yes, I think we're probably both going to be on that one. The Danimal says actually Houston and Jacksonville defensive score. They put a little half unit on each one. One should hit. It kind of reminds me of that Packers game earlier when they're playing the Cowboys. I did it with the Broncos receivers with Sutton and Franklin a couple weeks ago. Picked two of them to score a touchdown at big plus money odds. Yeah. You just need one to hit, and you get a nice little cash for yourself. So, yeah, I would not be surprised at all to see a defensive score on that one.
It's a good lane.
Next up, ugliest game of the week. Browns at Jets. Oh, God. It's brutal. Total's 37.5. Browns a road favor here of 2.5 points. Oh, God. Is there any value on this, Sean, or what do you think?
How's the weather looking?
I'll take a look.
That's where I'd be looking at is the weather. Because I kind of like the over here. This is low under for two bad teams. They got nothing to play for. They just, the Jets sold everybody off. So I would look to take the over in this game, actually. I don't like that under. I think both teams kind of play loose on defense, and I take the over.
Action Network weather says 58 degrees, not windy, but it does say rain. And rain sometimes is your enemy when it comes to an over in football. Yeah. Don't bet this game. Watch something different. I don't even have an opinion. It went in down. I just see a 2.5 point spread. And I just trying to think like Mr. Sharp, take the home dog of getting 2.5. I know. Don't bet this game. Don't bet this game. Next game is an intriguing one with Arizona at Seattle. Seahawks a 6.5 point home favorite. Totals 45.5. Lean Seahawks for me because they own the Cardinals. Seattle's now won 8 straight meetings with Arizona, including going 7-1 against the spread in those games. I don't want to fade a team when they got a track record like that, owning another team. Congrats to the Cardinals on their win over the Cowboys. I think they might have just a little bit tougher time with Seattle and their defense on Sunday as opposed to the Dallas defense. But Jacoby Brissett looks pretty good. I mean, I think he can be competitive, but, I don't love that number, 6.5, but I just don't think you want to be on the Cardinals when Seattle just beats them every game for the last 4 years.
I see it differently. I do want to fade the trend of Seattle beating them. I think Arizona's due. And I like the 6.5 here. I think the number's off a little bit for a division game. I do think Brissett runs that offense a lot better, right? He doesn't have those happy feet running around. Kyler Murray really never gets his team going. He never gets on tempo with anybody. He just runs around all the time. He never looks at his first progression, his second progression. He just starts moving around all the time. So I like the Cardinals here, and I like the 6.5. This one's going to be in pocket.
Oh, boy. Now you got me overthinking this here. The Godson, absolutely disgusting on the Browns and the Jets, maybe Breece Hall and Judkins props. I'm surprised Breece Hall didn't get traded. There was all kinds of smoke about him getting dealt, but I'm sure he is not happy to still be there.
The Kansas City Chiefs were interested in Breece Hall. I mean, what a team that would have been. But, yeah, I don't know what the Jets are doing, man. They kept Wilson. They kept Breece Hall for what? I mean, you're rebuilding for sure.
That doesn't make sense. Godson would also lean the Cardinals on the spread. Not sure if I'll take it, though. It's a big weekend in the NFC West because the other game is with the Rams and the Niners. And the Rams are a 4.5 point home favorite. Road favorite, excuse me. This game's in San Francisco, so the Rams are favored by 4.5. Total's 49.5. Mr. Sharp, divisional home dog. Where are you going?
This is tough because usually you would want to take the Niners here at home, but I think the Rams are the better team. I think the Niners are kind of struggling with all their injuries on defense, but I don't love the number to take the Rams. I just think the Rams are definitely the better team here. Didn't San Fran get the best of them last time in LA?
Yeah, it was
That's
that Thursday night game when they were all beat up. I think the Rams are favored by 8.5, I think, and the Niners won it straight up.
Yeah, and I think the Rams get their revenge, but I'm not going to lay 4.5. I'd like to get it at 3, 2.5 if I'm going to take the Rams, but I'm going to stay away at 4.5. If you like this division games, maybe you take the 49ers and take the points, but I just haven't seen the same Niners team I saw early in the year.
Interesting point from the Danimal in the last game. Arizona on the road been very good. 4-1. I'm guessing that's 4-1 straight up and 5-0 as dogs against the spread. And Seattle has really not been a good home team over the last couple of years. So that's an interesting point. I agree. I don't love this number, but I do lean the Rams in the spot as well against the Niners. Like they've been so Jekyll and Hyde, the Niners, because they're so beat up. And I feel like their performances are just very, you don't know what to expect. They've alternated wins and losses in their last 7 games.
Yeah.
And probably the second craziest stat I saw today, the Niners won a game last week. They beat the Giants. The last 15 times the Niners have just won a game, straight up. Last 15 times they've won a game. Their next game, they're just 1-14 against the spread. So that just really means they're not stringing together good performances back to back.
Yeah, and
so
the Rams, they lost to Philly on a blocked field goal.
Yeah.
Or they're a one-loss team, and then they lost to San Francisco on that short Thursday night, I think, by 3 points. So 2 games they lost were, one-possession games. So I like the Rams here. Just don't love the number. I wish it was a little smaller. Vegas is spot on here at 4.5. God damn it. I'd really like to get this one at 2.5. I'd love the Rams at 2.5.
I am really nervous that Stan Kroenke is going to have a big year because I think the Rams are legit Super Bowl contender. Looks like Arsenal's going to win the Premier League more than likely, and the Colorado Avalanche are off to an incredible start in the NHL. So I'm really nervous that Enos is going to be having a lot of celebration.
Tito would say, "Woof."
It's a big old woof. Yeah. Okay, this next game with the Lions at the Commanders. Damn it, that the line went through the key number. It was Lions minus 6.5 earlier today. It's gone up now to 7.5 on DraftKings. The total's 49.5. Maybe this is like the squarest play of all time. How do you not take the Lions here, though? Like, again, never fuck with the winning streak in sports gambling. We just talked about how the Niners, when they win a game, they can't win the next week, or they don't cover the next week.
Right.
The Lions, their last 12 games where they're coming off a loss. The Lions are a perfect 12-0 straight up and 12-0 against the spread. I know you like to say, Shawn, well, you got to fade that trend sometimes.
Right.
Is this really that spot to fade a trend
No.
when the Commanders, their season is dead because their quarterback's arm is pointed in the wrong direction? Like, to me, this is a game.
Man,
I think this is something that we don't think a lot about with because we don't have legal sports gambling here yet, but we're going to have it in 26 days. And an opportunity you're going to have is what we call using the ladder, where not just bet the Lions minus 7.5, but I would be interested in doing like, a half unit on Lions minus 13.5 at a huge plus money price. Lions minus, 20.5 at an enormous plus money price. We're just like, you put a full unit on the spread, the play you really like, but then maybe a half unit on something else, a quarter unit on something else, but just that big plus money price. Can you make any argument here for the Commanders to be competitive and cover this number? I just don't see it. I'm trying to see it. I can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, 16-point game. They let them score late and they cover the number. You get a push at 8 maybe. But I still don't see it. Yeah, not really. I do like what you're talking about with the ladder. You can also take the Lions full game minus 8, first quarter minus their number, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. You could parlay that and have a nice little payday as well if you want to go that route. A lot of guys like to do that with the over and the under. When they like an under in a game, they'll bet it. They'll bet the full game under for 1 unit, and they'll put a quarter unit on every quarter in the total to give them a 5-leg parlay on the under, essentially. So I do like the ladder aspect there, and I can't really say anything about the Commanders here besides, what is Jaden Daniels doing on the field there? My God. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll be reliving that one for a long time. But, yeah, I'm with you. Take the Lions and, yeah, go with the ladder route. Try to win some money, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I do like that angle a lot. The Godson said there's no justice in the world that Kroenke gets this success. I mean, the dude won. I mean, he got his money. He's the hero in LA. We just got to sit here and eat it. But we slayed the dragon, right? We got $790 million that we don't know where it's going. The Daniel says, I just know that fraud Tito's going to be all over the Dolphins on Sunday. I think he might win.
East pick.
That's right. And Washington is just so old. LOL.
Yeah, their defense is a little old. Running backs are a little old. Well, not Bill. He's a pretty young guy. He's a rookie.
Oh, man, I think the Lions just absolutely lay the hammer
I called
down.
this in the offseason with the Commanders. That whole McLaurin lockout, he never got going. Big wolf.
I got a couple props to finish off the NFL slate, and the first one's on Sunday Night Football with the Steelers at the Chargers, with the Chargers favored by 3, totals 45.5. So the prop I've picked out, Keenan Allen, anytime touchdown scorer, big plus money price, plus 190. So my logic is he hadn't done much the last couple weeks. This is a really good matchup. The Steelers have allowed the most PPR fantasy points to wide receivers this season, and Allen is who Justin Herbert looks to in the red zone. Keenan Allen leads the Chargers with 12 red zone targets this season. So you got a guy that gets a lot of red zone targets against a team that gives up a lot of fantasy points to pass catchers, especially PPR fantasy points, guys like Keenan Allen that get the ball a lot. I think it's a really good bounce back spot. I think the price is too big. Plus 190, I think that's worth a sprinkle for anytime touchdown scorer. What did you have picked out for this one?
I kind of like the Chargers -3. I see a ton of money coming in on Pittsburgh after that Colts win. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But I like the Chargers here in this spot, -3.
All right. I will let you get the honors on your Green Bay Packers. Coming off the loss to Carolina, they're back at Lambeau Field as a 2.5-point favorite against the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. Totals 45.5. Tell us about your club, Sean. I don't know what the hell's going on with this team.
We got a pussy boy head coach. That's what we got going on. This guy, he plays to his competition. Every time the Packers play a bad team like the Cleveland Browns or I wouldn't say Carolina's a bad team, but mid teams, bad teams, he just plays down to his competition. We play a good team, we show up. LaFleur's really I don't know what's going on with this guy. He really just plays to his competition. Now Tucker Kraft's out for the year. He was having an incredible season. But this is that 2.5 game. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers in the 2.5 here. I see 77% of the bets are on Philly. So I like Green Bay here getting the 2.5. I think LaFleur gets back to running the rock, leaning on Jacobs a little more. I would like to bet Jacobs props here in this game. This was just, to me, seems like they're going to lean on Jacobs heavy. This is going to be a heavy Jacobs game. They've been kind of saving him this year. So I'd look for him to score. But also, can Jordan Love play good football? He looked pretty bad running around there against Carolina. So to me, though, I think it's the Packers just because that 2.5 spread on Monday night, the dog, I think they show up and play the best game they've had on defense in a while. And I like the Packers getting 2.5.
Yeah, they actually, DraftKings has pretty much full props out for this game already, which is nice to see for Monday night. Jacobs rushing yards prop is 69.5. So that could be enticing.
That would be over his, he's averaging 66 yards a game only this year. I just think they're going to feed him.
Rush attempts, 17.5 is the number for Jacobs.
He's right at 17.5 per game this season.
Yeah. You mentioned Tucker Kraft, and that leads me really to the prop I had picked out. And so he led the Packers in red zone targets this season with 12. Next up is Romeo Doubs. And you can get him to score a touchdown at plus 190 on DraftKings in this game. I really like that play. I think he's in line for a big uptick in targets. He's already second on the team with 10 red zone targets. And just overall, last week, he was the number one receiver for that team. 10 targets, 7 catches, 91 yards. So I think he's going to get the ball a lot with Tucker Kraft out, especially in the red zone. Jordan Love's going to be looking for him. I really, really like this play. He's kind of now my pet receiver because he got the streak started for me scoring against Dallas.
Yeah.
And at just plus 190 without Tucker Kraft, I think that is way too big. Jacobs score touchdowns minus 175. I mean, that's like, yeah, you can take that if you really want to, but you might want to parlay that with something. But at that value, plus 190 on Dobbs to score, I think that is a great price.
I do like Barkley too. I think the Eagles will keep it balanced, and the Packers, I think they're gonna try to keep Barkley down, but I don't, I think it's just gonna be a Barkley Jacobs kind of game. Both teams here need a win, so Packers, yeah, they are. It's just Matt LaFleur. I think that's what it comes down to. If you're going to be a serious contender and go trade for Michael Parsons, how are you going to lose to the Cleveland Browns and then lose to Carolina at home and tie to the Dallas Cowboys? Those are three games you should have won. Yeah, Luke Musgrave. I think you'll see an uptick, and he was I think he was a second round tight end pick. So, but he's not Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft had the new Travis Kelce vibes, the new Gronk vibes. He seemed like he was the new upcoming star. Tough game here, but I just, for some reason, I like the Packers getting 2.5. I hope it's not my fandom getting in the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they do indeed play to their competition, this should be a game they win. So, yeah, I kind of get the sense, gun to my head. I think they'll get it done too. That is our NFL preview for Week 10. Let's get right to our best bets. If you're watching, you got a best bet for this week, throw in the chat. We'll talk about it before we get out of here. I'm going to go to the NHL for my best bet. NHL's been good to me so far this season. That's the one thing that's still been pretty rock solid over this cold stretch over the last few weeks. NHL this season, I'm 17-13. That's 57%. I'm up over 3 units. I know that doesn't sound like out of this world amazing, but like I'm telling you guys, when we talk about grinding out profit, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Like just slow and steady, keep grinding. If you think you got an edge on these NHL plays, in particular on these overs, you want to go 55 to 60%, you'll be just fine. So I'm having a lot of fun betting the NHL so far this season. And no surprise, Mr. Sharp, I am on an over for my best bet tomorrow. I'm going Ottawa at Boston, over 6.5 tomorrow night. Shop around, of course, shop around. But DraftKings, the official odds provider on STL Sports Central, you can get over 6.5 at plus 110. These teams have been awesome to the over this season. The Bruins are 9-6 to the over, and they're hot right now, 6-2 in their last 8 for the over. Senators 10-3 to the over, including a perfect 6-0 on the road. And these teams met just last week, October 27th. Your final score was 7-2. And in fact, 3 of the last 4 meetings with these teams have seen at least 9 goals scored. So the recent form is there. The head-to-head is there. My best bet, Ottawa, Boston, over 6.5 tomorrow night. You can get that, again, at plus 110 on DraftKings. And the Godson is going to be tailing that sends Bruins over. I'm sure the Godson, this guy, he's like the master, the teacher. I'm learning from him. Overs in the NHL, you have such an edge. I've cashed quite a few over the last few weeks. We just call it hockey math. You got an over 6 or 6.5. The game gets to 3-3, you win. Because 3 + 3 = 7 in the NHL, because you're guaranteed to get another goal in overtime or shootout. That is why usually you think overs, it's that's for squares, betting overs. In hockey, no. This is where you can find a really good edge. Look at that recent form. Look at the overall stats of how they performed the over. Look at head-to-head as well. That is kind of the strategy I use. Like I said, it's been profitable so far this season. So, Mr. Sharp, I'm thinking you're not going NHL, but what are you thinking for your best bet?
I think I might follow you and Ty on that. Ty, get on Action Network so we can see these bets, what you got going. I know Eric said you got a little lazy there, but it's okay to get disciplined again and get back on there. I'm going to go to the NFL, and I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins. I think this is a good spot for the Dolphins at plus 9.5. I like them a lot, and that would be my best bet of the week. And I kind of do like the Bears minus 4.5. That's just an extra little tease there. But, yeah, for me, I think Miami stays inside this number. I can't believe I'm betting on Miami, but I'm going to do it.
I co-sign it, man. I saw that line. I get it. I get why Buffalo's favored, but again, just like the market opinion of them right now is so positive because people just saw them beat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Right.
And just they dick around with bad teams. And they're kind of do what the Packers do, I feel like,
They do. They fuck around. They're waiting for Allen to make a play late in the game. And 81% of the bets, Mr. Sharp's got to get back to what he's good at, and that's fading the public. And I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins.
Godson's best bet, Man City money line, -110 against Liverpool on Sunday. I might be heading to Amsterdam Tavern on Sunday morning with the Godson to watch that one. Says this team is back. Haaland's the hottest man in the world. I'm telling you right now, just like find a way to bet on Erling Haaland to score right now. Cash, that's one bet I did cash today. I had a profitable day in the Champions League today, which was good to see. Man City to win and Erling Haaland to score. You combine those two things together a lot of times, you're going to be doing just fine. The Godson says December 1st, I'm back on action. I promise.
All right.
Telling you guys, like, especially once we get this going, you got bets flying all over the place. You have all these different books instead of just your one offshore or whatever you've been using for the last X number of years. It's a lot to manage, and using an app like the Action Network will help keep you organized, let you know how you're doing. The Danable says his best bet, Stanford +7.5 against Belichick and his Tar Heels. Oh man. Speaking of coaches that might be shutting it down. It could be one and done for Mr. Belichick.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get a, farewells, he's stepping down, but god damn, he should be fired on the spot. Terrible. He's more worried about his girlfriend. That's all he's worried about.
Oh my God. It's just been such a bust. All right. Enjoy the show tonight. And that's going to do it. If you enjoyed it as well, do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel. And most importantly, number one thing you guys can do to support the show is support the advertisers. It's just about us, it's about you guys too. Because this is just like, I'm almost like trying to let you in on a secret. Like James Carlton is the real deal. I'm not kidding you. So take just a few minutes and get a quote from him. Phone call. It's just going to be worth a few minutes of your time. I'm super, super confident about that. So give him a call tomorrow during normal business hours at 314-961-4800 or go to carltoninsurance.net. You got something there, Mr. Sharp?
Yeah, I talked to James myself. I got to wait till the new year, but I'll be moving over to State Farm and James Carlton here in January.
Oh, love to hear that. Because, yeah, sometimes you're in the midst of a claim or you got something going on where you can't switch.
We had a tornado damage.
Yeah. But guys, like, it's for real. It's not just an advertisement. It's a true recommendation. Give James Carlton a call 314-961-4800. Good to have you back, Mr. Sharp. That is Shawn Surwillo. I'm Eric Sontag, and this has been Domesticated Gamblers here on STL Sports Central, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Thanks for being with us, guys. We will see you next Wednesday.
LFC, boy!